Now that the split between President Donald Trump and Elon Musk has gone from a spat to a shooting war, there's one thing Democrats absolutely have to do from now until the next election. It may be the most important thing that they do this year or for all of Donald Trump's term. So in this video, I want to quickly review what just happened between Trump and Musk, for anyone who's been sleeping under a rock, talk about a little remembered but super important story from American political history that gives a hint to what, number 3, Democrats should be doing right now. First, what's happened? Well, the highest profile thing is this war between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. It started a couple of days ago when Musk called Donald Trump's so-called big beautiful bill a disgusting abomination. Then they started sparring over who deserved the credit for Trump winning in 2024, with Musk claiming that it was really all his money and his doing. Then they started fighting over why Trump stopped supporting a friend of Musk's who'd been nominated to lead NASA, and who knew what, when about the big beautiful bill and what was in it, and did anyone know anything about it before they voted on it. And then Trump was threatening to cut all of the government money that went to Musk's companies, and then Musk went nuclear and claimed that there were references to Trump in unreleased government documents about Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, there probably are. The list goes on, but you get the point. But let me just note that this is not the only division among Republicans, either on this bill or on other matters. The New York Times devoted an entire episode of The Daily on Thursday to all of the rifts that have developed among Republicans who don't want to boot 10 million Americans off their health insurance through Medicaid, and all the Republicans who don't want to kill tax incentives for clean energy, as the big beautiful bill does, because they actually support the great jobs that come from those incentives that Americans want. There are Republicans who are acutely aware of how dangerous it is to cut health care for 10 million people in order to finance $2.4 trillion of debt to pay for tax cuts that go almost entirely to wealthy people. Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri was particularly eloquent on this. He wrote, "For the better part of 50 years, working wages have been flat in real terms. Working people cannot afford to marry when they want to, have the number of children they want to, or raise those children as they want to. These days, they can barely afford to put a roof over their kids' heads, to say nothing of healthcare." And yes, I know that's a quote from Josh Hawley, and it's weird that I'm quoting it, but he's right. So that's what's happening. The Musk and Trump feud is just the big, ugly Jerry Springer tip of the iceberg of deep divisions among Republicans. So let me tell you a quick story from political history. In 1953, Lyndon Johnson had just become the leader of the Senate Democrats, and they were in the minority because Dwight Eisenhower had led the Republicans to a crushing 1952 victory in the election. Lyndon Johnson saw that on certain issues and in certain places, foreign policy and in the suburbs, Eisenhower was extremely popular, and Johnson realized that if he positioned Democrats against Eisenhower on foreign policy issues, they would lose. What he had to do was divide and conquer. What he had to do was find a crack in the Republican alliance and make it wider, and that's exactly what he did. When Senator John Bricker of Ohio offered a constitutional amendment to limit the power of the president to make international agreements, it split Republicans into right-wing reactionaries and more moderate Eisenhower Republicans. Johnson set about driving in that wedge. He helped craft and had the Democrats support a version of the Bricker Amendment that would place them on the popular side and with the moderate Republicans. But privately, he worked to make sure that that version of the amendment would lose. It worked. He created a bridge to moderates. He made Democrats look like leaders who put patriotism over party, and it made the Republican factions more pissed off at each other and less effective. After this maneuver worked, he continued to expand on the strategy by making deals with moderate Republicans and thereby hurting the Republican Party as a whole and making Democrats look like moderates. By the way, he was also doing what was the right thing to do, avoiding a right-wing constitutional amendment that would have essentially hamstrung the federal government and let state legislatures make American foreign policy. It was pretty nutty stuff, and he stopped it. So that gets us to point number 3. This is exactly what Democrats need to keep in mind in the coming days. It's one thing to see your opponents destroying themselves and to pop a bag of popcorn, sit back, and enjoy the show. Fun, too. But it's another thing to drive the wedge deeper, improve your political position with voters, and win some important battles for Americans. Now that Republican leaders are desperately trying to de-escalate the tensions between Musk and Trump behind the scenes, Democrats can no longer afford to sit back. They need to deepen the division. They have a perfect foil: Elon Musk. The public hates him even more than they hate Donald Trump. They blame him for all of the Doge chaos. Trump already said, cut all contracts that go to Musk companies. Perfect. Democrats should offer that as an amendment. The point is to make the fight bigger. Pick on Musk at every opportunity, even if it means taking Donald Trump's side. In the Senate, the key is Democrats don't have to solve every problem in the bill. They just need to, again, make divisions bigger. And that means lining up with moderate Republicans and their priorities, even if they're not exactly always our priorities. I mean, on this point, Democrats in the Senate already fully know this. They know this piece. They know that they already have Josh Hawley and Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins opposing the bill over the Medicaid cuts. And if they can ally with them, cut out that piece, this bill goes back to the morass of a negotiation between the House and the Senate. Good luck to Mike Johnson and Donald Trump figuring out all of that mess. The key point is, the rift is open now. It's not just on this bill. The strategic direction that Democrats have to take from now on is to get on the side of voters, no matter what allies they have to make. And they have to make the divisions among Republicans bigger and bigger at every opportunity. They have to divide and conquer.